Hey everybody, DayTraderRockStar here, and this is the high probability watch list for the week of, let me bring it up, double check here, Monday. It'll be May 8th, Monday, May 8th. It is Friday. Again, I usually start my watch list here during the day. Boss Paul's on the mic and stuff at Day Trading Radio. And it's about 2 o'clock now. I've been just putting out a lot of charts. If you were in the chat room today, you noticed I put out about 6 HPS charts that are on the watch list for this week. So I usually post those in the room while I set them up on the HPS site. I just do that. So a lot of great setups we're going to go over this week, and this is where we go over those setups. I'll send out the charts, and then I'll review the charts on this video that you're going to watch. And usually the first part of the video, I spend a little time talking about the market conditions, what we call market radar. We kind of just, a technical overview of the markets. And then maybe a little, not too much, but not a little added commentary on what we see out there. So actually you can see the KMI. This is some things that you're going to see later on. But we're going to just start off with the S&P chart here. And as you can see, I cleaned this chart up. There used to be a lot of trend lines and stuff. And there's only two real main ones right now. This is the latest breakout, this latest pullback from March to, we'll call it April, May. Then we popped out. Now we're just showing good strength. Everything actually looks pretty good at this point. On the daily, overall on the daily, and again, there's a lot to be taken in here. I mean, we have a new president, new administration. There's so much out in front of us that it's hard to predict how far this could go and how fast it can go. So, things are still looking good until that changes. Stay the course. 60-minute time frame is like a little faster, so we look at this and. Don't look at the one on the top here. Look at the one on the bottom. Bottom's a little extended. And over the weekend, we're going to have the French election, the second part of the election. But I think it's, I think the market's expecting, I forget his name now, but the one candidate to win who is more better for the markets because he's not in favor of. Breaking up the European Union and stuff. But that's as far as I want to go into it. You have to look it up on your own. But that will affect the market, So we might actually get a little grind up going into Sunday evening, Monday. Things should be okay. If something drastically changes with the election, then you're going to see a big drop in the market. But that's not expected at all. So that's it on the news. Still earnings next week, and everything looks okay. It's just like concentrate on what I've been trying to concentrate on some of the setups, intraday setups right now. But I stick to only a couple of good setups, either that triple stochastic flag setup or a definite divergence. And we just haven't seen the divergence over the last couple of days. I've been watching. I think maybe there was one. I'm looking back. Yeah, it was one this morning. I'm looking back at this morning. It was a pretty nice divergence too. It went from 8:30 to 9:30, and you could see the lower low on stochastics. And from that point on, it really was a nice drop off. But that was only a real big divergence we did see. There might have been one back here. Curious. It looks like there was. It looks like there was like a double bottom, triple bottom divergence right after 12 o'clock. Where you have that series of low, you're right on the lows, but you got a higher low on the stochastics here. So it was showing a divergence there. And from that point on, as you could see, that was a pretty major spot. So a divergence actually coming in there and then coming in back over here at 8:30, 9:30. Two major spots the market ran. Divergences outlined that level. So that's why we always try to just, for me, try and always emphasize, go for your best hand. Wait for that hand to come to you. Take these trades. There's other ways of approaching the market. There's other strategies out there. You'll mess with everything, but this is the one you should definitely put on your radar, and when it does show up, take it. So, yeah, the big divergences, even here at 8:30 to 9:30, a really good one. We won't miss the next one. I mean, I wasn't on the wasn't in front of the computer at this time, but looking back at it, you can see it's quite a nice one and a nice move from that. So let's just take a look at review a couple of the HPS setups from last week that have triggered, and then we'll get into the real big list for this week. There's a lot of great stuff, so I'm looking forward to sharing it with you. I got the charts are already on the site. I might add a couple more, but you have to remember, the HPS, criteria has to be pretty strict. It has to fall into a certain, strict criteria, basically a criteria of, what I look for in a setup, or one of the HPS setups. There's about 7 of them. I usually put whatever's in the HPS watch list has to be really qualified for the top 3 setups. I don't put anything like, too funky out there. Just the best. So we have a few of those. And we had a few of those last week too. And it was a kind of touch and go for a second, it seemed like. Because we knew we were right on trend lines. The Palo Alto Networks was one of them, PANW. It was right, we were down here, and it's like when you're down on that trend line down here, and it's not moving, you start to, you always question it. Say, wow, it's right there. It should take off and stuff. And, the hardest thing I always say is time in this market. We try to do it with the time frames. 60-minute time frame gave us the divergence, actually. Something was going funky here. Something was interesting here. I think it was from here to here and here to here. This was the divergence, hourly divergence, and it was from that point on we rallied. So I think we actually mentioned that too. So we got that rally, we took profits on it. But that's, again, it falls into that category. It had a divergence, it was a lower trend line. It just took a little time for that to work out. The APD. Some of it we've already gone over, but there's a great examples of what we're going to look for, what I would like to look for: an underlying trend line, a channel within a channel. Here we had this kind of divergence. We had these higher lows being put in here, and there was a low and a lower low here, and then a sideways, and it was just starting to get that divergence feeling. And you felt okay. I mean, at this point back here, we were seeing relative strength in this stock as the market was getting a little bit more choppier. But this one held on pretty good, and then once things stabled out, boom, took off. But it was a good, indication that might be happening. So that was a good setup there. Let me go through a couple of these. The Sienna, CIEN here. Love the upper rising trend line downward channel, what we call an X marks the spot type of trade. I've been focused on that for the last couple of weeks, just on the show and kind of showing you how to set that up and what to look for, because it's such it's a kind of a dual area of support here. You usually get a reaction off of it. Now, again, Sienna's right back onto my list of to-go stocks right now. But we were in that one off of the X marks the spot, and there's a couple X marks the spots this week also. And then the PRGO. It's another trend line, lower trend line set up down here. A little divergence and a pop. And still looking good, and there's other ones out there. But remember, that's the criteria. We want to stick to a good criteria. Sometimes it doesn't happen the next day, but usually we're right on target. Look at that. I mean, that's a beautiful pop right there. TRIP, TRIP, the other trade we had last week. I mean, we got it right down here off the trend line. It was right on support. I started seeing a double bottom divergence. I think that's what it was back here. We started to see that double bottom divergence, started pushing around. Came back, we're looking for it to hold. It was another double bottom, triple bottom. That's just on the daily. But now we're, that was, again, it could have gone either way. I think, glad not to be in this one anymore. Glad to get out of it and move on. But it did work out as seeing some divergences in this one. one last divergence we were in. It was the Gilead divergence, and we like this little from the 10th to the 24th was a downward move, and we actually held way off that 20, and then we actually made up, went up, we took profits, and then it gapped down. Remember, we got out I think we got out of this flag here right before earnings. We got out before I said, you know what, let's just take their money and run before earnings. No reason to hold it. Boom, gaps down. The next day we get in. Now we're moving on up like the Jeffersons. So we're up on this one nicely. So again, just being out of danger was important on that, and then being able to understand that, hey, we already had a divergence here. The strength is in this one. The reversal's in. We're probably going to get a secondary divergence, meaning we're going to higher low. A secondary, just a higher trending low here on the stochastics.
Hi, took alert.
Ooh, what's going on in the markets? So that's we're back in that. SPY just popping here. I could go back here for a second and see what's going on. Nice little pop here. Popped a point. I mean, a little volume came in here too. You can see the volume bar picking up here faster. 7,000. And then a new volume bar starting now. I might have to put on Mr. Land. Turn them up in the background. Probably nothing. Friday, remember, lighter volume. Sometimes a little program trade will just trigger some things, and then next thing you know, the price comes right back down to it. So, you're definitely going up against the machines these days. And one more that we'll go over, just because it's relevant for this week, is Under Armour. We were in Under Armour down here on this base. It was just a good, nice little base. I was searching for a divergence. I thought we had a divergence back here. It chopped around sideways. It never took out the lows here and actually held above that. Overall, it was worth holding on to, and we got that pop when we sold into it. What did we get on that? $1 and change, dollar something. $1.47, and since then it's pulled back, and today, of course, it has pulled back to a level where it deserves to, be thought about again. So, this is one that I got back into today, and I feel good about it. I feel the pullback was good. It was a normal pullback. The 60-minute time frame is a little extended here. I'm taking a look at that on Monday. See if that gap is going to come into play. But the fact is, this is a swing trade. This is Under Armour. So we're looking at that first breakout, that first pullback, and now trying to establish it kind of in the higher low down here. Move down a little bit further, but we want to hold off the lows. And we're giving ourselves a little pullback. So, looks good for a trade. The new ones here we're going to get into right now. And I'm just looking around on my chart right now, trying to see if there's any trades to take on here. AMD pushing back up. The CHRW is actually gaining ground again. Sienna, I do like the Sienna, but we're gonna put this in the second half of the video, because the first half, which was just this half, is going to end for outside. If you're not a member. So if you're not a member and you're getting this, feel free to get on board and get in the community of Day Trading Radio. Try out the free trial. And if you are, then you won't have any. You won't have any. You won't have anything. You're just going to continue to hear me talk.